a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders, and his name is Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Most of us are familiar with these words of the prophet Isaiah that are often quoted around Christmas. But the prophet continues in chapter 22. I will place on his shoulder the key of the house of David. He shall open, and no one shall shut. He shall shut, and no one shall open. This is the second reference to King David in the O Antiphons, as Christ is named Key of David. He is also recognized there as an heir of the royal household, of David's royal line. But this is a reference in Isaiah to an obscure passage that describes the transfer of authority within the royal palace, not of a king, but from the financial governor, a specific one named Shebna, who was wicked and displeased God. That power was transferred to Eliakim, who was called a man of the Lord's choosing, who goes on to do justice and love mercy. This image of opening and shutting, binding and loosing, is part of a network of such metaphors throughout the scriptures. Of these, the most notable to Christian ears comes from the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus promises Peter the keys to the kingdom, and that whatever he binds on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever he looses on earth will be loosed in heaven. The key of David, which is the authority to bind and loose, draws a line to Christ's role as liberator, lest we see our Lord as a kind of arbitrary despot who opening the door for some and closing the door for others by some terrible decree, a mundane and human misunderstanding of divine regenerative justice. This one who descended as a child and born in a manger also descended into hell, and there unlocked the shackles of death and destroyed the gates of hell forever, and therefore restored and regenerated humanity and all of creation by his resurrection. The key of David, a man of God's own choosing, born into this world in vulnerability and fragility, carried the secret weapon of just mercy against the reign of darkness and liberates us who sit in darkness and the shadow of death. Come, let us adore him.
Make safe the way that we